Hi guys, it's Liz and Luna here with your daily dose of guidance and her afternoon bath, which if you can hear is absolutely nasty. So I apologize, but she is what she is. And she waited too. And she waited. She sat here for a minute. I meditated. And she just sat there all just prim and proper. And I went to turn on the camera and she started her bath. You absolute nasty. Okay, so we are here for our daily dose of guidance. So my intention, as usual, is to start with the energy oracle cards to receive said guidance. I do have other card decks here off to the side, though, just in case the message either does not want to come through the energy oracle cards, or we need to expand upon the message, but it wants to come through one of the other decks. So we'll see what comes up. And as I'm shuffling here, we can all just watch Luna take her nasty ass bath. I mean, it could be a reminder of self-care, right? She's just doing, that's her service, right? Is to remind us all, self-care, cleanliness, right? Ugh, she's so gross. Okay, so I have already tapped in with the, divine wisdom, spirit guides, and all that jazz. Oh, here we go. To receive our guidance, and okay. So we had this yesterday. Community. Okay, so let's see exactly. We're going to continue on shuffling here to see exactly what our message has to do with this community. Okay, this typically, in past readings, typically community is about tapping into, or leaning rather, on your community for support. But let's just see what wants to come through. Specifically in regards to this community card. See if I can tap in psychically as I'm shuffling the cards to see what wants to come through. So I'm just closing my eyes for a moment and seeing if anything wants to come through. Okay. So I was going to say this is also a celebratory card, but we have the Temple Path in reverse. Okay, so let's see how these two kind of come together. I'm not sure exactly how these two come together just yet. So let's continue on shuffling. I haven't yet been guided to switch decks. So let's see. Okay, so I am starting to pick up that there may be like a whether it's religious or spiritual or whatever label you want to put on it, there may be something where you're feeling a little disconnected from it, maybe even blocked, because like I said, because we had that blocked crown chakra, and that's directly related to feeling cut off from, or feeling cut off or feeling disconnected from the divine, okay? So this may be speaking into that as well, that if you're still kind of feeling that way, to maybe reach out to your community to maybe help you heal this energy, okay? But we'll see. I'm not exactly sure if that's the message right now. If that resonates with you, then that's your message, but let me just keep on going here. We also have Misty, who's decided to come and yell at me. Oh, Luna's going to take her nap now. She's taken her bath. Now it's nap time. Bathing is exhausting some days, right? Am I right? So we also have Misty here. She may or may not join us on the couch, but you may yet hear her yelling at me. Oh, she's trying to get up on my lap, which makes shuffling so much easier. Okay, so what is this message having to do with community and the temple path in reverse? Because this is still, like I said, the temple path in reverse, or the temple path really, just the temple path, whether it's upright or reverse, has to do with the crown chakra. So this is letting me know that there is still some kind of imbalance or blockage, maybe an overactivation happening in that crown chakra, but with the temple path being in reverse, that feels really more like a blockage, but we'll see what comes up. We'll see. Okay. Misty, this is, I know you're, pay attention to me. Pay attention to the moo. I'm trying to do something here. I'm a little busy. Cats don't care. They just don't care. Pay attention to me. Yeah. Okay. Okay, so again, we're tapping into that divine wisdom. Calling on the ascended masters, the archangels, the angels, and our positive spirit guides, as well as my highest self, to aid in getting some clarity around what this message is. Okay. So I had said earlier, I wasn't feeling guided to change decks, but I'm starting to feel that way now, because the message doesn't seem to be wanting to come through. So I might switch. Oh, here we go, just as I'm saying. Okay, now we're getting somewhere. We have the first chakra, which is the root chakra, okay, and the Archangel Michael. Okay, and he's upright. Okay, so, okay, I'm starting to feel it a little bit more now, especially now we got an Archangel here. This is going to be, like, powerful, okay? I'm going to keep shuffling, but I feel like I'm starting to download, okay? So I'm feeling like there may have been something either in your recent or more likely further back past, okay? So this could be childhood, but this could be something a little bit further along, just like recent past, okay? But typically, anytime we have something that's dealing with a root chakra, this is going to be like early childhood, typically. Not always, but typically, okay? So there may have been something in your either childhood or even sometime in the recent past, okay, where you may have felt rejected by the community, specifically in a spiritual sense, okay? So maybe you felt rejection within your specific religion or just your spiritual faith, if you will, okay? That if there was like a community that you were around, like, okay, so for example, okay, so I'm a witch, but I am a solitary witch. Now oh, here we go. Pay attention to me. Again, cats just don't care. They do not care. I'm kind of doing something. Oh, okay, we're getting kisses now. Okay, so, as a witch though, some witches do prefer to have like a coven, okay? So you have your coven, so it could be like that, or just, even if you're like into yoga, okay? Even if you're into just yoga, but you have a community that you maybe practice along with, whether it's virtually or in person, okay? It could be, again, a religion, you know, like I used to be, way back in the day, like way back, I used to identify as a Baptist Christian, okay? But I felt that didn't really I didn't necessarily feel rejected. In fact, my experience was quite opposite. I felt very accepted, despite the fact that I was very different from everyone else. So everyone else was like, very conservative, and sort of like maybe a little older. Okay, we had some older people. They're very conservative. Okay, and I was kind of a wild child. I was kind of a goth, or I would, show up with like blue hair, and just I was an oddball in that particular group. Luckily for me, maybe it's just because of my shining personality, I'm not sure, but I was actually very much accepted into that. Now, there were some parts of it within that specific religious vein that just did not jive with my personal beliefs and values and morals, okay? Not saying, there's no shade to them. It just didn't vibe with my personal beliefs, values, and morals, okay? And so I dipped. I was like, this doesn't work for me. This doesn't fit for me anymore. I'm a dip, right? It's just, I tried to understand their beliefs and values and all of that, and it just, there was like a block there, right? I was just like, nope, that's just not, we're not jamming, right? And so I left, and I, went on a spiritual journey and found my path, okay? So that may resonate with you as well. It might not be that you felt rejected, but it might go the other way, where you kind of rejected them, okay? That's kind of what I did back in that day, was I kind of, Misty, no, don't scratch on the thing. Okay, so it could go the other way, where you felt like, you know what, maybe this isn't my path, right? I'm going to reject this community, not in a, harmful way, right? Oh, there's the Misty. Oh, she's joining us. Okay, so maybe, because like me, I wasn't like, okay, you guys suck, I'm out. It wasn't like that. I was just like, we just don't jive. And I'm a dip. I'm gonna go do me. Okay, and so that may have been your experience as well, that you were in a spiritual type of community, and you're like, you know what, this just doesn't fit for me. So I'm a go, right? All right, I'm a head out, right? So that might be your experience as well, that you actually rejected them. Again, not in a harmful way, just you're like, no, this isn't for me. I'm a dip, okay? Now, it could also go the other way, though, where you were the one who felt rejected by the collective, okay? And this is where we're going to end up with a blockage or some kind of imbalance happening here in that crown chakra, okay? So there's going to be that blockage there, and it's also going to create some trauma energy, okay, that's going to sit in your root chakra, okay? So like I said, this could be any type of, I'm really, because of the spiritual path card that's here, I'm really going to like focus this message on that, okay? So this is really about either rejecting a certain path, a certain spiritual path, or you felt rejected by a certain spiritual path, okay? So I will mention just as an example that you may, like, okay, so from my experience with the Baptist church that I was a part of back in the day, I came to learn that part of that faith was part of their like morals and values and all that jazz was actually a rejection of homosexuality, okay? So if you were gay, you were in the Baptist faith that I was in, they rejected you. They would reject you if you were homosexual or even bisexual, okay? Something where you didn't have the heteronormative, okay, type of values, they rejected that. They believed that the Bible says that, homosexuality is a sin, okay? That was something that I just couldn't jive with. That just, I had gay friends, okay? And I was just like, I can't see that my gay friends are evil, okay, evil, or that they're sinners. They're great people, they're wonderful people, they're loving people, okay? This makes no sense to me. So, and trying to understand their values, around this, around these, Bible verses that they were trying to show me, that I was like, nah, that doesn't make any sense to me. So that's where I was like, okay, you know what? Maybe this specific faith just isn't for me. I'm a dip, right? I'm a go over here. Okay? So that's where that rejection came in, of that community, where I was like, yeah, you know what? We don't have the same values and morals. I'm a go, right? I don't need to resist you or, put any harmful energy towards you. You do you, but I'm a dip, okay? Now, if we were to say, for example, reverse that, and you were like, this is, I'm all in on this faith, but I am, I identify as gay, just as an example, okay? I identify as gay, but in this faith, that's considered a sin. Okay, so now I feel rejected, and, it's just going to create a lot of trauma, energy, and emotional baggage, just a lot of heavy, harmful energy, and that is all going to that's going to, in this particular case, because it's related to spirituality, that's going to block your crown chakra, and it's going to create some kind of imbalance in your root chakra. Okay, probably more likely either an imbalance or a blockage rather than an overactivation, but trauma energy can kind of go either way. Sometimes it blocks, sometimes it causes an overactivation, okay? So that is really what I'm feeling, though, is that there was something within a spiritual faith where you either rejected it or felt rejected, okay? And that is what is sort of the cause here. That's, blocking this crown chakra and creating some kind of imbalance or blockage in the root chakra, okay? So, I almost forgot. I was just going on a thing here, and I almost forgot that another card came up, but right now it's doing this for me, right? So I can't see it. I just covered it up because I didn't want to see it yet. So let's see what this card has to say. This may be, adding to this message, or it may be guidance. I don't know yet. Let's check it out. Shut up. Door to spirit. Door to spirit, but in reverse. Shut up. You can't make this up. You cannot make this up. I'm just right now. Okay? So yeah, so it might even be not even just that you rejected a spiritual path or felt rejected by a spiritual path or the community within that path. You might have gone right off into full on, not even just like skepticism, but just like closed-minded, right? You're just like religion, spirituality, all that jazz, God, ghosts, spirit guides, angels, all that jazz, bullshit. It's all bullshit. Okay, that's what I'm getting. That's what I'm feeling with this, with the spiritual, with the temple path and the door to spirit being in reverse. That's that block. Okay, that's where that block is. That's what's causing that you went way over. Okay, so we have trauma here, an emotional baggage, okay, in that root chakra. But we're also, so again, this is a general reading. So for some of you, it is going to be more along the lines of, just feeling hurt, that hurt energy of either feeling rejected by a spiritual community. Maybe not as much if you were the one rejecting them, like I was. That didn't create a block in me, okay? When I came across this, value system that just didn't jive with mine, I was just like, okay, cool, I'm out, right? And I just went, I'm still like, I'm still not throwing any shade towards that Baptist community, right? I'm just, we weren't in alignment. I'm a go, right? So that didn't create a block. So chances are, for some of you, it's more likely that you were the one who felt rejected by that spiritual community, and that caused hurt and probably emotional baggage, maybe even trauma. Okay, and that's going to sit in your root chakra. Now, for some of you, or maybe this is an and/or type of situation, you took it and just went, this whole thing, this whole idea of religion or spirituality is all bullshit. It's just, we live as, this is it, right? You look around, this is it. You live your life, and then you die, and then that's it. Boom, right? Done. Lights out, right? Just completely, this, doesn't, chances are if you're there, you're not here, right? I'm a spiritual life coach. My business is literally called Spiritually Charged. So chances are, that's, if you're here, then you clearly need to hear this message. But chances are, as I'm speaking, you're just like, this is complete bullshit, right? Because you're just like blocked right here. You're just like, nope. Okay, like a wall goes up, right? But that wall is more here, okay? So, and you're just like, it's bullshit. Or maybe that's just skepticism. Maybe it's not full-blown, it's all bullshit, okay? Yeah, what is that called? Atheist. That's the word I was looking for. Maybe you don't identify as like full-on atheist, right? Totally closed-minded. Maybe you're just skeptical. Skeptical means that you're like, it's probably not, it's probably not real, but I'm open that it might, if it is, right? If you believe any of this at all, kind of deal, right? Skepticism doesn't mean closed-minded, typically. It just means that you're like, you're kind of on the fence. You're like, it's more likely not, but I'm not saying it's not, right? It's like that meme of, I'm not saying it's aliens, right? So it's that kind of energy, but kind of going the other way, right? But that meme is more like going towards aliens it's, I'm not saying it's aliens, ... but it's aliens, right? If you're a skeptic, you're more likely going the other way with that. You're like, it's more likely that it's not aliens, but I'm not saying it's not aliens, right? Just as an example, okay? So it might be the same for you in regards to a spiritual path or faith, okay? That there's just some skepticism there where you're like, maybe it is, maybe it's not, right? And so let's see if there is some guidance here around healing, to clearing the blockages, healing the root chakra. Okay, let's see if we can get some guidance around that. Again, I may need to switch decks, but just as see, yep, no surprise. I was just thinking this with the Archangel Michael card. I was just thinking this. It's attachment upright. Okay, so we have attachments. So I was just thinking this with Michael. So one of the things that Michael does, one of the things he does is he uses his sword. Now, the sword looks like a little dagger. Okay, his actual sword is this giant sword that has blue flames. It's a giant blue flaming sword. And what he does with that, what he can do with that, one of the things he does is, because he's about protection, okay, he rides that blue ray of protection, okay? And so one of the things he can do with that sword, if we ask him to, and if we are receptive to it, okay, is he can cut away those attachments with using that sword, okay? So if we ask him, now we can do this ourselves as well, okay? There are, we can do that energy work ourselves where we're cutting away those energy cords, okay? Now, if that's something that you're like, I just don't know how to do that, or I'd rather have something, a being that I perceive as being very, very powerful, okay, to clear that away, okay? So you can call on the Archangel Michael to cut away those attachment cords with his big blue flaming sword. Okay, now, I just heard that and it sounded rather sexual. That's not what I meant. Okay? Or you can do it yourself. You can do a cord cutting meditation or ritual yourself where you cut those cords. Now, one of the things I do is I kind of do something in between where, depending on where it is on my body, okay, if I'm able to get my hands on that spot, okay, is I will actually visualize that blue flame I will visualize that blue flame, because I'm also a Reiki master, so I do hands-on healing, and I will visualize that blue flame coming down and through and out of my hands and burning that cord away myself, right? So you could also do that if you're like, archangels aren't really my thing, or what have you, or you just, it helps you to feel more empowered to do it yourself. You're like, I don't want to, I don't want someone else doing this for me, even if it is a being like the archangels. Okay, you're like, I can do this myself, right? So that is one way. So you can cut the cord or you can burn the cord, okay, using, your hands, okay? So that is one way of doing that. And again, it has to be something where you're at a point where you're like, this is causing me long-term harm, okay? Or even short-term. If it's short-term harm, you can still cut it. But chances are this is something that has been a problem for you, that has been causing you harm for quite some time, okay? And it's blocking you from being able to be your, excuse me, I need to burp there. This is keeping you from being able to be your highest self and being able to be your, when I say highest, I mean like overall, like health-wise. Being health-wise, being in alignment, being able to manifest, being able to live your purpose, all that jazz, okay? It's going to, especially if it's something that has to do with like your purpose, okay? Well, any of those things, you know what? Any of those things that I just said, this is kind of dampening that. It might even be blocking it, but at the very least, it's kind of dampening your ability, okay, to do those things. So you'll want to clear that stuff out just so that you are your healthiest and highest version of yourself, okay? Because right now it's keeping you down, right? It's dampening you from being able to tap into that, okay? Okay, see, I feel like that's probably it, but let me just see if there's anything else that wants to come through in regards to guidance for helping to heal and clear this energy, or even integrating it with love and compassion, okay? So let's see what wants to come up. If anything wants to come up. Okay. I just noticed that Misty was like, I'm out. You can see Luna's belly. Okay, so let's see if anything else wants to come through, or if that's it, and we'll just wrap it up, okay? Oh, geez, we got a lot here, so I'm just going to take the top one here, because that's just way too many. Okay, so we do have a guide here coming through with the thinking woman, okay? Now, this can be someone in your life, like someone who is in a physical body, or it could be a spirit guide, okay? And it's going to be someone who has a feminine energy. They don't necessarily have to identify as female, okay? But they have a feminine type of energy here. Okay, and this is a guide of some kind. So even if they are in a physical body, they're still someone who is guiding you, okay, and in this healing. So this could be someone, someone who is either in your spiritual belief system, okay, or it could be someone, okay, so for example, okay, like a spiritual life coach or a life coach, okay, it could be a therapist, it could be a counselor, okay, it could be a coach, something along those lines, or it could just be someone, again, who is maybe a little further along in their path as far as your chosen spiritual path, okay? So it could be someone who's just got a little bit more experience and is, open and willing to share their wisdom with you, okay? Again, this could also be a spiritual guide, okay? Who is also trying to help guide you along, okay? And so this is going to be a feminine energy guide who is here to help in giving you wisdom, Okay. So again, this could be like a spiritual life coach, or it could even be your yoga instructor. Okay, like even if you're like, well, I don't really have like a spiritual path per se, but you're someone who maybe has a yoga practice. Okay, this could even be wisdom coming from your yoga instructor. Okay, it could be something like that. Okay, I will mention just very quickly because she is my favorite. And chances are you've heard of her, but in case you haven't, I want to give her a shout out. Yoga with Adrienne is chef's kiss. Okay, because not only does she instruct you as, taking you through the asanas, right, the poses, but she also drops wisdom bombs. Okay, so and she does it in such a way, like such an adorable, relatable kind of way. It's just, I vibe real hard with her. So she may be someone to check out. Okay, I'm going to shout her out because I just adore her. So it could be someone like that as well, who just drops those wisdom bombs, but not in a way where it's like you really have, like, she explains it in a way where you understand what she is saying, what wisdom she's trying to bring forth. Okay, so it's very relatable, very understandable. Okay, so it could be someone like that as well. Okay. Let's see if anything else wants to come through. Okay, I'm actually going to shout out myself a little bit here. So if you're interested in Kundalini Rising, I do have a course on Udemy that you may also find helpful. Okay, there is some wisdom tied into that. Okay, so you may find that. See, we got a notification. So for some of you, this is something that you're going to want to jump on. Okay, it's spiritual Kundalini Awakening on Udemy. I'll leave a link in case you want to check it out. Okay, but that is it. So I will say again, I am a spiritual life coach, advanced angel therapist, and Reiki master. So if you need help with any of those things, give me a shout, DM me, or email me at spirituallycharged@gmail.com. We'll set up a call and go from there. Okay? But that is our message for today, beautiful soul. I hope you found it helpful, and I will see you tomorrow with another daily dose of guidance.